Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jean, and this is my new weekly Stitch Talk with Captain Stitches. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining me for what is, if it has anything to do with needlework and stitching, well, let's talk. So, come on, step on into my stitching cottage and let's do some chatting and some stitching. But today, what I have is just an awesome little introduction to give you an overview of the things to come for this new format, Stitch Talk, for the year 2024. Yes, I have to get used to saying 2024. I have a lot of exciting things planned and scheduled for you, a lot of things that you will be able to participate in, take part in, join in on the ones that you are interested and like, and just follow along what others do and what I do in the other plans and things that I have planned for this Stitch Talk for 2024. I hope to inspire many of you in some way. Maybe some new stitchers will hop on and learn a few things throughout the year. But let me take a moment to catch up on those joining me this morning. Good morning, Polly. Great to see you. And Katie from Katie Crafts. Good morning, Debbie Williams. And Gladys from the Confident Quilter is with us this morning. Hello, Nancy, our treasured home. Good morning to you. June is here. Good morning. And I think I have caught up with everyone that is in the chat so far. So let me get right into what plans I have for all of you and anyone else joining us throughout the year for this Stitch Talk. First of all, and I'm going to go through the list, and then there's a few that I'm going to go back and go into more detail on. But first of all, and I alluded to this last week, is our 366 days of stitching. Thank you, Carol, for bringing to our attention that 2024 is a leap year and therefore has 366 days instead of 365 days in it. But that will be an embroidery stitch along that I will be sharing with you. Hello, Darlene. Good morning, and Happy New Year to you also. And then I will also be offering a quarterly quilt along, and some of those quilts will be my own design to share with you. Some will be maybe a free pattern that I find along the way, or there may be a pattern that needs to be purchased. But there will be a quarterly quilt along. So 4 times this year, we will have a quilt along for those of you who like those to participate in. Then we will also have a little needle book of the month, slow stitch along, and that's just a really cute little way for those of us that stitch. We are always looking for where we put our needles, our little scissors, thread, that type of thing for our project. So having a little needle book to keep those in is a really great way to stay organized. And so I will be offering a needle book slow stitch along also. And then what else do we have? This one was alluded to also last week in a challenge that I made to you, and that will be a bi-monthly finish a whip. And I will go into more detail on that later. Good morning, Christiana. It is great to see you. Welcome, and Happy New Year. And then I also will be doing more work on charity projects this year and sharing that along with all of you. So if there is an interest in any of those with any of you, you will also be able to see what I am working on for my local, in my community charities and in my county, and a few that are other close to my heart interests that I'll be sharing with you throughout the year also. Good morning. So, Terry, it's great to see you. I love how she calls us the chatters. We do a lot of chatting, don't we? But I do have a group for my charity quilting, and I will share that. It's a Facebook group. I'll share that in the description box. It's the name of it is Threads of Kept in Stitches, Heartfully Given. So if you're interested, all the information normally on what I'm doing charity wise is included in that group. So you can check that out later if you would like. And then I will also be doing what I will be calling Meet a Subscriber or a Viewer. And that will give an opportunity for those of you that would like to occasionally come up through the Zoom platform of streaming, and we can stitch together. We can have a little chat, get to know each and everybody else, get to know a little bit more about you, and have a little Q&A, impromptu, just very casual interview. I think that would be a neat way to get to know some of you better and others to also meet some of the subscribers and viewers. Then there will also be pop-up Zoom stitch days throughout the year, but that will be for members only. If you want more information on that, you will notice there is now the join button below this video screen. If you want more information on that, all you have to do is click that join button. It will show you the 3 different levels of memberships I have offered to those of you that may have an interest. So check that out. If you see something that piques your interest and you're interested in, go ahead and join. No pressure. Don't need to join. It's just something that is a new offering that I have for you by being in the YouTube Partner Program this year. Good morning, Danielle. Great to see you. So be sure and check that out because there will be other things besides pop-up Zoom stitch days and things going on for the members of Captain Stitches. Then there is also collaborations that I will be doing with others. Hello, good morning, Mona. Great to see you on this morning. I know there's a lot going on with you right now, so it's great to see you up and joining in this morning. Happy New Year again to everyone for those that I may have missed. But talking about guest collaborations, I have some other ideas, lots of ideas in mind, but one I have actually followed through on and spoken with this individual, and I think it is going to be a great and fun collaboration. It will be once a month on here, and it will be on the Zoom platform, and there is a name for that collaboration since it will be throughout the year, and I am happy to announce that I will be doing a segment on the Stitch Weekly Stitch Talk that will be called Baking Up a Quilt with Jean and Nancy. And Nancy, of course, is my moderator from our treasured home, one of my moderators. And on her channel, she does a lot of baking and sharing of recipes. So I was sitting there and a light bulb went on the one day and I thought, wouldn't it be neat if Nancy baked something and I designed a quilt block to go along with that same theme. So we are calling it Baking Up a Quilt. Each month, she will be sharing a recipe for that month's theme, and I will be designing a quilt block for that month's theme, and she will be showing and fixing that recipe during that segment, and I will be working on the quilt block and sharing the quilt block with you all. So at the end, good morning, Susan, just caught you on there. Welcome, welcome. But June is going to be seeing a heart doctor next week. Oh no, prayers for you, June. Hope everything is all right. Yes, it does sound like it'll be fun to watch, doesn't it? But just checking to see what's going on there that I don't miss anything in the chat. Most of you are talking amongst yourselves, and that's fine and great. But anyhow, a little more about that Baking Up a Quilt with Jean and Nancy. Um, it will be the same Friday every month. It will be a monthly thing. I haven't decided yet whether it's going to be the third Friday of the month or the last Friday of the month. I'm thinking it'll probably be the last Friday of the month, but I will announce that in the community tab. But that is going to be a lot of fun. So if you follow along at the end of the year, not only will you have 12 recipes in a cookbook, you will also have 12 blocks for a quilt, and I will show a way to put that together. That will be a baking theme. So really looking forward to that. Hello, Maritza. Great to see you this morning also. Welcome, welcome. Great to see all of you on this very first day of 2024. Happy New Year. And we have snow this morning, where I am anyway, in Ohio. But that is just the brief overview of what is to come in my new weekly Stitch Talk with Captain Stitches. That will be every Monday morning at 11 o'clock right here. Oh, thank you so much, Mona. That is awesome. Mona just did a super chat there. Thank you very, very much. I don't know that I have that set up to be able to pop up at the top, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and good morning, Jean Roar as well. My other Jean, it is great to see you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So in case those of you who are wondering, Mona clicked on the little super chat $ there and donated to the channel. That is awesome, awesome. And Rita is here with us this morning as well. And as soon as I am able to and have members of my channel, I will be setting up the system so that all of that will show up and be highlighted in the live chat and chats on my videos. Brand new to that, so still setting up for the new year. But let's go into a little bit more detail on a few of the things that I have planned, because I did give some hints last week in my one live about some of the things to come. And the first one that we are going to talk about is the bi-monthly Finish a Whip, which I gave you a challenge during Friday's live last week. And that was to, first of all, list the top 12 projects that you would like to work on in 2024. Or would like to complete in 2024. And then after you were to list the 12, I told you now cut that in half and choose your top 6 and prioritize them by numbering them 1 through 6. So that makes it bi-monthly to be able to work on those projects instead. And that is where we will have our bi-monthly Finish a Whip. So all of you that took on that challenge already have your 6 projects listed, or should be close to having those listed. Have your supplies together, have it labeled and numbered in a project container as I suggested, and we will be able to start working on those whips together. And I think that is going to be a great way to be able to finish a whip in 2024, at least 6 of them. Get my fingers right. Okay. And many more if we are able. And I wanted to just share with you real quickly what my top 6 are in order of priority. And the first one is my Sunrise Beyond quilt, which happens to be on the long arm. You can't see it because there's another one on top of it that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I need to get that quilt quilted on the long arm and off so I can get others done. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a little wool needle and thread case kit that I have that is an all through the night pattern by Bonnie Sullivan. Love Bonnie Sullivan patterns. And that was a gift to me by Debbie Williams, my good friend who is on here. She is also the Debbie that gets to come over quite often because she lives nearby and join me in the stitching cottage, and we stitch together, chat, and I also have been teaching her to quilt. So we will be working on that project together. Thumbs up, people. Thank you. Yes, don't forget the thumbs up. And number 3 on my list of 6 is to add, I didn't like the finish of the Long Time Gone pattern by Jen Kingwell, so I have decided to add black borders all the way around that quilt. And then as soon as Sunrise Beyond is done on the long arm, that will be the next one in line to be loaded on the long arm and get finished. And then number 4 is one I've been working on for several years. And you have also seen in my weekly reviews progress on this quilt. And it is the Layered Hearts quilt, which is a pattern by the designer, the City Stitcher, who is from the local area that I live in here in Ohio. And I need to finish, it is an applique quilt. I need to finish the blocks for that. And then by looking through Pinterest, I was piqued by an idea that I saw there. So in putting those blocks together, I've decided that I will be sashing them with yo-yos, and then it will have a yo-yo border. So that is number 4 on the projects that I would like to get completed this year. And also then number 5, those of you who know me well know there are pink squirrels that evade and do all kinds of mischief in my stitching cottage. So last spring when I was in Amish country for a small shop hop going on there, I came across a pattern by Funky Friends Factory for a pink squirrel. So I want to make at least one, maybe a few, so they can be scattered around my stitching cottage, pink squirrels. And the first one, I will be using Tula pink fabrics that I also picked up while I was there in Amish country. And then for my number 6, it was a toss-up. So I made it a tie, and I will be working on both of them. So I have 6A and 6B because these are projects that I have been working on with others throughout 2023 and would like to finish them in 2024. And the first, number 6, is Over the River and Through the Woods. I'm sure you're familiar with that one, many of you that follow along with me. And that is a crabapple hill pattern. It is, the majority of it is embroidery work. And then the second one is also one that is a lot of embroidery work, and it is Feathered Nests. And it is a pattern by Wellington House Designs. And I have been working on that with my dear, dear, dear friend, which we have been meeting with each other every single week for a little over 12 years. So that is a project that she chose and we have been working on, and I do want to continue working on that and finish that this year. So those are my 6 projects for the bi-monthly Finish a Whip, and I'm really excited to see what some of your projects are. So if you are going to join in that, would love for next week for some of you to be able to share what you are working on, what your 6 are in the chat with the rest of us. And let me see what is next. Next is the 366 days of stitching, which I shared this book last Friday with you. And some of you showed interest in that. I did put the information for it in the description box. I will add that again. You can find it on Amazon. And I was also shared that you can find it at your local Target store here or wherever you may be. But that is an embroidery stitch project that we will be doing as a stitch along. And I have mine prepared. I have my initials and the year 2024 in there. I used the iron-on template that comes in the back of the book to make my template that goes inside the hoop. And I have the section of January already stitched off, January stitched at the top. And because it's snowing today, I'm starting off with some little snowflakes for my stitch for the first day of January, the first day of the year that I will be working on later today. But I wanted to share with you some of the supplies and the way that I prepare that, which I also did inside the book. They show a little stitch sampler that I thought was really cute. So I went ahead and did the stitch sampler, which looks like that. It has a few of the stitches that you use, some of the most popular, most widely used ones, and it's just a little sampler with those on there. And it also was a way for me to be able to show you how you can finish off your project in the hoop once you're done with it. Of course, you can do your 366 stitches, 366 days of stitches on any format that you want. It doesn't have to be in a round hoop or anything. It can be, a table runner or something like that, whatever you decide to use. But this is what I will be using for the stitch along. So if you want to make up a little stitch sampler, you don't need to have the book to do that. I know some of you from last year that followed along, and I had a embroidery stitch of the week that we did. And this was the little handy embroidery stitch at a glance little pocket book that a lot of you got then. I will share this again, the link for that. You can get it on Amazon, but you can use that for your stitch guide and that type of thing instead if you don't have the book. No need to have the book. So mine is all ready to go. What I wanted to share with you on that is on the back of all my embroidery projects, I always use the Pellon SF101 Shape Flex, and it is a woven fusible that I cut. Oh, if you're using a 12-inch hoop, you are going to need to cut a 14-inch square of whatever fabric you are using, and then you will need to cut a 12-inch square of this Shape Flex, and you will iron that on to the back side of your fabric. And why I use that and what that is for is not only does it keep the stitches and the, if you travel any or whatever on the back from showing through to the front side of your fabric, it stabilizes the fabric, keeps it from stretching and distorting while you are stitching, and it also makes your stitches lay nicer on top of the fabric for a more professional look when you are finished. So that is something that you will want to have and use with that project. You will want to gather up a bunch of threads. You can use DMC floss, anchor floss, any floss type thread that you have. You can use Valdani or any brand pearl cotton. If you use a pearl cotton, I would suggest you use size 12, not the thicker for this project. But you will want to gather up a wide variety assortment of those, which I just pulled some out of my stash of flosses using some of my older ones for that project. And then you will also want to have, like I said, possibly this little handy guide for embroidery stitches. And then you will need something to mark your template and also your stitches, which you can either use one of my favorites, the Micron archivally safe pens. I use an 03 or an 05 for that. Making sure that I haven't missed anybody new pop on. And my very favorite marking pencil is the Bone, and it is a chalk pencil, not white chalk and not a colored chalk. It is the lead, same as a pencil, colored, but it is a chalk pencil. and that is what I use. I just love it. So either one of those or something similar, you will need to be marking your stitches and template and such. And then, of course, you want to gather up a little kit to keep your scissors that you'll be using, your needles, a needle threader. If you use a thimble and a little gripper on your finger, gather that up. Oops, my little thing with the pins in it fell out there. I also have a magnetic needle minder up there, and because I will be using black more than anything, I do have the Valdani size 12 pearl cotton stored in there. But you have everything real close, click it, able to have everything all in one place, ready to go. So every day you will be ready to stitch. So my background sounds like yours. Sometimes sirens going down the street. I don't know what you may be hearing, Nancy, but I do have a little heater right down here that you might be hearing also. I apologize for that, but it would be cold out here if I turned it off. So hello, Brenda. Good morning. Good morning. Great to see you pop on. I do want to share with you that in using the iron-on template that was in the back of here, normally I check things out a little better. I didn't. I just assumed, and you know what happens when you assume, that it would fit the 12-inch hoop, which is the suggested size that they use. Awesome. Terry, I have 2 of the wheeled carts, which I have one right next to me here that has everything on it that I'm using today. But what I found is, and this is the first one I did, which it won't go to waste. I will use it in a different way, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But if you use that, do not, like I did, I do the things on my fabric before putting it in the hoop, but then I went ahead and I added the months. But these were, when I put it in the hoop, they ended up underneath the outside hoop and weren't part of it. It only part of the end of it was showing up. So I tried to erase them. I did not like the look of that. So I decided, no, I will just start over with a new one. But this will not go to waste, because what I will do with this one is I will use it for a monthly slow stitch project instead. It will not be wasted. Do you ever use your hoop under your sewing machine needle? Yes, I have done what is called thread painting. That's what we call it in embroidery. I don't have an embroidery machine. It's done by hand, moving it like you do free motion quilting, but it's called thread painting. And I have done that. I have a project. I'll have to look and find that and share that with you one of these days. It's not finished either. It's a whip. So might have to get it out and finish it. But yes, I have done that. Good morning, Deb. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. But that is enough about that project. Let me make sure where we are. What is the other that I wanted to talk about? I wanted to discuss, so that those of you that are going to be joining in on the quarterly quilt along, I do have the pattern ready for that, which is this cute little pattern that I am calling Jellied Charm Quilt. And you will find hanging up right there is an example of the finished quilt. It finishes out at approximately 75 by 75 inches. And also right on the long arm here is another one that is not quilted yet. It is out of Christmas fabrics, but that is the same pattern right there. And for mine on the first quarter quilt along with you, I will be using, what you need is you will need 1 jelly roll, and you will need a charm pack, and they both need to be the same fabric line. So 1 jelly roll, 1 charm pack of the same fabric line. I will be using Tula Pink that I got on my last quilt shop road trip. But that is what you will need. And then you will need fabric for your borders and your binding. You will also, of course, need backing fabric and batting. And I do have the fabric requirements. I will go ahead and give those to you today. Yes, I also got mine at Walmart. Jean, she's asking about the wheeled carts. The first one I got it on sale at Walmart. The second one was the regular price, but they're very reasonable and they are sturdy and easy to put together. I will say that. But thank you for answering her question, Debbie. I didn't catch that right away. But I do have the fabric requirements and the instructions, piecing instructions also for the quilt. And I will let you know that the pattern will be available in a PDF downloadable format. To get that, however, you will have to email me with a request for that pattern, and my email can be found in the About section under my homepage of my YouTube channel. So you can find that there if you want a downloadable PDF of the pattern so you have all the information to follow along. That is how you will get that. But right now I will, so you can be grabbing what you need if you are going to want to be doing this first quarter quilt along with us. Like I said, you will need 1 jelly roll and 1 charm pack of the same fabric line. You will need 1 yard of fabric for the inner borders. You will need 1 1/4 yard of fabric for the outer border. You will need 2/3 yards for the binding. And then, of course, you will need the backing. If you're using a regular 44, 45 width, you will need 4 2/3 yards of fabric for the backing. Or if you use a wide back, you will need 2 1/3 yards. And you will need a queen size batting. So that is the fabric requirements for it. And like I said, this is a very, very easy pattern. Wanted to start off with something simple. So if you are a new quilter or somebody wanting to learn to quilt, this will be a great quilt along for you. And we will be starting that next week in the Stitch Talk. So that is what you have to look forward to for next week. And then I almost forgot, I do need to share. Oh, Christine, welcome, welcome. She forgot to turn on the notifications. Oh, well, click that bell and they'll always be on, Christine. Then you won't have to worry and miss it again. But glad you were able to make it. You'll just have to go back and watch part of the replay. But as you recall, a couple weeks ago, I was working on the Fat Quarter Table Runner Quilt As You Go. And I did complete that, which here it is completed. And I will show you the back size so you get an idea of how it looks with those. So let me see if I hold it here long enough. I think the diagonal lines are going to show up. So that is how it ends up looking on the back once it is quilted. And so I now have 2 of those completed, and I will be displaying them someplace in the house for the month of January. I usually change my quilted decor out every month in the house, so that will be shared someplace in the house for the month of January. And then we have a few things for the mail call to share with you, which of course I needed more embroidery hoops, and the brand that I like to use is called Cato. I find those on Amazon. They are a nice sturdy, well-made embroidery hoop. This is a variety pack. I didn't realize when I ordered it, I thought the largest size was a 12-inch, but it is unfortunately a 10-inch. So I did have to order a 3-piece set is what I got of the 12-inch. So those are some of the things that I got in the mail. Also, oh, Christine, her cousin was blowing up New Year's chat after midnight. Okay, my my one son who is not old, I messaged to wish a happy New Year about a half an hour before New Year's, and I think he's actually an hour behind us. Yeah, maybe he's a year behind. No, he's an hour behind us also. So, but he said he's getting old and he wasn't going to be able to stay up until midnight. So he sent an early Happy New Year's greeting. I thought that was funny. But anyway, also in the mail, I received this Hexy on the Go bag pattern, and it is a Hugs and Kisses pattern. Some of you may recognize the Hugs and Kisses. They are a designer from Australia, so it is hard to get the patterns and find them in the United States. But I did find this at the Intrepid Thread. I believe they're out of California, but I will share that link in the description box at the end of the video. But it is a really cute pattern to be able to hold it's made using hexes, and then it is one that you use for when you're doing hexie projects to hold your hexes in as you're working on them. But that was the other thing that I received in the mail. And then we have the saga of the Fat Quarter Shop Sampler monthly subscription box, which for some reason I always end up not receiving mine in a timely manner, which this time it was, I don't know what it was doing, but it was sitting by the tracking information in a city just 40 miles down the road from me for 8 days and never ever moved from that location to where I just finally got it. I think it was either Friday or Saturday when I finally got it, and that was after contacting Fat Quarter Shop again to try and find out where my subscription box was and what the deal was, why it was just sitting there not moving. But anyhow, some of you have probably already seen what is in December's since it's now January, but I will go ahead for those of you that may not have seen what was in the box this month, and I will quickly go over it and show it to you this month, which for subscribers only, there's always a little promo code in there to receive so much off a certain purchase. Ooh, scared me. Katie Sue just fell out of her dog bed. But poor little girl, she's getting old. But let's see what we have in here this month. And let's see which side I want to start on. We're going to start right here, which the fabric that is in here this month is the Dulce Love Struck Fat Eighth Bundle by Lella Boutique for Moda Fabrics. And it is a 12-piece Fat Eighth bundle. So that side there shows really pretty fabrics. Those are some pretty colors. I think I will definitely enjoy using those. And in addition, there is foundation papers for 1.5 by 3-inch flying geese, which I'm sure has something to do with this fabric and the pattern. We shall find out. And also in here, we have another Creative Grids ruler which is a little 2.5 by 4.5 inch ruler. And let me see if it says anything special about that. It doesn't, but it says that'll work great for their jelly rolls, jolly bars, charm packs, and mini charm packs. But what I see it working great for is, I don't know how many of you follow Mount Scrapmore, but she is well known for sharing the potato chip block. And this is, I believe, the size of the most common potato chip. The section that you use in putting together the potato chip block. So it would come in really handy for doing that. Or if you work on crumb blocks, I can see that coming in very handy for those. There is also a bonus item, it says, which is a magic pin sampler card. It has the heat resistant fork pins in it, some to try, and then it has the flathead 2-inch fine ones over here. So just enough to try out and see if you like them. I do have some of these. I haven't found that I use them a lot, but I will check them out and see if I do. And then we also have the pattern that goes with the Fat Eighth bundle, and it is called the Dulcie quilt pattern. That is cute. Cute. Need 3 additional fabrics to be able to make that quilt, but I know I already have the white, and I'm sure I can find it showing a green accent and middle border and a little plaid coordinating binding. I'm sure I have something in my vast stash that will match that if I decide that I want to make that little quilt pattern. And then we have a light moss in a very light teal green, 100% cotton thread. And they are by I never say this right, Presencia thread. And those, if I don't use them I always throw them in my things to use in my slow stitching projects. So they never go to waste, but always nice to get new threads to try out in some way. And then, of course, it is block number 9 in the pressed flowers quilt along. So up to block 9 on that, and it is a marigold. So that is everything that came in the sampler box this time, and I think I probably will be making this quilt. So watch for that to come. We put everything, try and get everything back in there. And yeah, that ruler, I think, yeah, will come in nice for those of you that, or myself, that make the potato chip block. Just the right size for a template for that. So that is everything I have for you today on the weekly Stitch Talk. I hope that you have enjoyed this. I hope that you are, I have piqued your, hello, Marcia Powell. I didn't see you if you popped on earlier. Welcome, welcome. Yes, I love the pressed flowers pattern. I will be doing that complete quilt. I'm not going to start it until I have all of the blocks and decide on a fabric that I want to use for it, because I'm pretty sure they're sold out of the fabric. I'm not sure. I'll have to check on Fat Quarter Shop, but I think it may be sold out. But anyway, yes, I hope that some of the things that I have planned for you all in this Stitch Talk for 2024 are some things you will decide that you would like to participate in and do either the stitch along, the needle book of the month, slow stitch, the quarterly quilt along, the bi-monthly finish a whip, so many things. And of course, don't forget, and I will make an announcement in the community tab, which live. It will be this month that we will be starting the new segment for Stitch Talk once a month. That is baking up a quilt with Jean and Nancy, myself and Nancy of Our Treasured Home. Looking forward to that. That's going to be great fun, a great collaboration between the two of us. And I have some ideas for collaborations with others. So stay tuned, everyone. Have a great week. And don't forget to join me on Friday for my Stitch Tips and Chat with Captain Stitches, where I will be working on the round robin and have some tips and great chatting for you. Thanks again, everyone. Enjoy this New Year's Day, and I hope you have a wonderful, prosperous, healthy New Year. And in the meantime, before Friday, or whenever you see me next, remember that I can keep you in stitches. Bye bye, everyone.